President Biden is expected to announce his nominee to head the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives. Biden selected Steve Dettelbach as his nominee, a former U.S. attorney for the Northern District of Ohio. If confirmed by the Senate, Dettelbach would be the first permanent ATF director since 2015. The White House also releasing its final version of its ghost gun rule, coming amid pressure to crack down on gun deaths and violent crime in the United States. For more on this, let's bring in ABC News political director Avery Harper and former FBI agent, ABC News contributor Brad Garrett. Guys, glad to have you both. Brad, let's start with you. Help us first just kind of understand exactly what ghost guns are.
So ghost guns basically are made two ways. Ghost guns are either sold in pieces. In other words, you buy the frame, you buy the barrel, so forth and so on, and then you assemble it. The key is that the receiver or the frame of the gun basically is the only piece that has any sort of federal regulation over components of a gun. The second way you come up with undetectable ghost guns is through a 3D printer. So I think the president in a few moments are going to address both of these, which really have to do with regulation and that they can't leave these gun assembly places without a serial number on them, which is not the case today.
So, Avery, then, when talking about the White House and this administration, you know, guns, it's been making its rounds through the federal regulations process for a while now. Why is Biden focusing on privately made weapons now?
Right. Well, this is a campaign promise that then candidate Biden made that he was going to address gun violence across this country. He had earlier asked the ATF to finalize a rule to create regulation around these ghost guns. And it's really important because if you look at rising crime rates in cities across this country, I'm here in New York City, we are seeing lots of homicides, lots of crimes that are being committed with these ghost guns. And because there are no serial numbers, they are untraceable, which makes it harder for police to hold those responsible accountable for those crimes.
And Brad, let's just talk about how difficult it is to track down criminals who use these types of weapons.
So think about it this way. If you go to a homicide scene, there's shell casings typically. ATF will put those into basically a ballistic database so that if somebody uses that firearm again, they might be able to trace it. Secondly, once they have a firearm, it has a serial number on it, which will then take ATF and the local police perhaps back to where it came from. It may have been stolen. It may have been passed through a number of people, but at least you might be able to track it. Ghost guns, undetectable, no serial number, basically is saying as you take it out of the box and put it together or have a 3D printer and make one, that there's no record of that. And so as a result, there's nothing to trace. That's the problem. So the big concern is the number of potential ghost guns that are out there. I mean, I think last year or in 2019, ATF seized like 10,000 of them. There are some police departments, Kara, that are talking about upward of 50% of the guns that they seize are ghost guns. So you see where this is going. I mean, it's a real dilemma for the police.
Well, and clearly the ATF, especially when talking about this new nominee, Biden's new pick, Avery, it is going to be forced to deal with this. I mean, if you look at the first ATF nominee, David Chipman, last year, met all those concerns from lawmakers. He was out. So let's talk about what now lies ahead for this nominee, if so confirmed, and why this process has been so drawn out, why it's taken so long to get ahead of the ATF.
Right, and I think this goes back to, and I almost feel like a broken record when I speak about this, but it's because the Senate is so narrowly, the margins are so narrow. The fact that Democrats have this majority, a very slim majority of 50-50 Senate, it makes it difficult for the Senate to pass some of these nominees. And so, yes, Dettelbach, he is a former federal attorney. And so the hope is that because he has been confirmed before, that this might be an easier easier path to get this nominee over the line and into that position rather than keeping that career interim director in its place. If you talk to the Biden administration, this is also about taking an aggressive stance and an aggressive approach to address gun violence.
So what could that aggressive approach look like, Brad, if indeed, Dettelbach gets this position, heads the ATF? What is he going to have to tackle first?
Well, the big issue that every ATF director has had to tackle are folks that are pro-Second Amendment and pro-gun rights. They like ghost guns because they think it's their inherent right to build, make, assemble firearms any way of their choosing. And so it's been a huge issue in Congress getting people permanently approved as the ATF director. You may or may not know this, but for years there's been a fight to even let ATF become automated. There are times when guns are recovered that ATF actually has to go to a warehouse and manually go through gun permits from various dealers around the country. This is all driven basically because the concern of oversight of firearms. And so every ATF director ends up dealing with this, and it becomes a thorny issue every time trying to get one confirmed. So if he gets confirmed, he's going to face that. He's going to face Second Amendment folks coming at him every day because they don't like ATF. They don't think guns should be regulated, as I mentioned earlier. So that's going to be his big issue out of the box.
All right. Well, the president will be holding a big event today. We're following it. We'll follow the issue closely. Brad, Avery, thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.